Alrighty, gonna be starting here in just a minute. Welcome back. First, I gotta get all this junk done. Hold on. Alright. Actually, I gotta check something real quick.
full fan, but it shuts off after 15 minutes.
So if you just leave the fan running, it just turns off?
Yeah, but I mean, it works perfectly fine for the heater, but I was just thinking of like when you put it on
Right.
65.
You might have to just bring a fan in and let it blow your temperature. It starts getting above 90, it starts getting warm in here.
Yeah.
Yep. You should feel it up here.
What?
You should feel it up here.
Is it hot there?
It's a little warm.
Turn on the air.
Oh, it's down.
That's not good.
there. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in just a little bit.
can follow me. You can follow. You can follow me. You can follow. You can follow me. You can follow. You can follow me.
All right. Welcome. How's it going?
Good.
Can you see? You close enough? So have you ever used Lightroom before?
Yes, I have, but not this. I think it's just the regular one. Is this the classic?
It's just Lightroom.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a difference.
Well, they have one where it's more, it's simple.
Sick.
But then they have one that's
So they have, I guess they have Classic CC.
Yeah, I think the one I had was
Classic
just the
CC.
Lightroom CC.
Classic CC is the renamed version of the Lightroom application you have used in the past. So it looks like it's the same. It's just.
Okay.
I know that it's an upgrade, so there are different features, but. Oh, I guess Lightroom Classic maybe is just a dumbed down version that doesn't have quite as many features. So, I don't know, this is Lightroom 5. So this is, I think the latest version is like 7 or 8, so this is a little bit old, but I wasn't sure what your experience is in terms of editing or organizing or anything like that, so I was just going to go over kind of how I do things. I start a portfolio, I start a library or a catalog. So I have a catalog for so I started one for Delineations Tulsa Portfolio, and then I've got so I just have a Lightroom 5 catalog, which has like all my trips and things like that. I don't categorize all the stuff that I usually do for editing, but these can typically get pretty big. I think maybe this catalog, since it's on my laptop, is a lot smaller. It only has 135 photos. I did a time lapse, a sunrise time lapse.
Is that the video? Is that's a video, right?
No, I took a series of pictures
on the same spot.
And then I used a software that's like a plug-in for Lightroom, kind of.
Oh, I thought you actually, because I was wondering how that worked. You can do it with a video, right? Yeah,
but the thing with the video is that if you're doing if you want to do a time lapse, we'll just say a 24-hour time lapse, that's a lot of video. Especially at even at 720p, you're talking over 32 gigabyte card amount of information for the video. So if you do time lapses, and you take pictures, you have to do a little bit of math. You say, I want my video to be this long. It's going to span over 8 hours, so I want to be able to replay it at 30 or 60 frames per second. So then you calculate what your interval of shots is, whether 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. And then I don't know if 2017 Scouts time lapse. One of these. Oh goodness. So this is just a series of photos that was put together to look like video. So, and I think I took these at 10-second intervals, which is why you can see people walking by. Right there. So you get a shot of somebody coming by occasionally, but you don't see them walking by. It's just they're there and then they're gone. So, but it's the clouds move slow enough and the sun moves slow enough to where it looks like you get. So I like how it's bright and then it's dark and then it's bright. And I was doing this and I was like, man, are the clouds gonna roll in? And then they disappeared, and I was like, sweet. and then it was breakfast time, so I stopped taking them. But it wasn't that many pictures. So it was 118 photos, and it was maybe about 30-45 minutes from when I started taking pictures to the end. So.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to do that. I should have did that when I was in Keystone.
Yeah, you should when you get a chance to try it. We're going camping hopefully this weekend, and we're gonna go do astrophotography, and we might do some time lapses where you take a picture you don't get the trails, so there's time lapse and then there's long exposure. Right? Long exposure is where you leave the shutter open for a long period of time, and you can get like the star trails. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Long exposure star photography. So where you get something like this. Okay. So all that is the camera's in one spot, and they leave the shutter open for, and this might be a composition of multiple pictures, but they leave the shutter open long enough to where the sun, as the Earth is rotating and the stars are tracking in the sky, you get the trail of light, right? So it's open for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes at a time, and then you put them all on top of each other, and you get stuff like, I don't know why that's colored. They might have pumped the saturation in this one. And that's where you get like the shooting star. Well, that's actually a really good photo. I don't know if that's a photo or not, but it's really good. So, but what you do is you pick a spot, right? And that's the spot that you're going to spin around. That's probably the North Star right there. And then it just, the spinning of the Earth takes care of the rest. You get like airplanes and things like that. That's a pretty cool one. That one's pretty wild.
That's cool.
So, but that's long exposure, and then versus time lapse, and that's going to be more of a video. I don't want the trails. So this, you can see, this is time lapse. You don't see the star trails, but you see the actual movement of the stars in the sky. And this is what, like, if you were to sit there and watch this happen, you would be able to track this all happening. So these are all pictures. You know, it's a series of pictures. It's not video. I mean, that's all video is a series of pictures, right? So,
yeah, it is.
So all this is just pictures taken every 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then there's software that you can put it together to make sure the exposure is all correct. Like, that's really nice.
That's amazing right there. It almost looks like the stars is like overlay.
It does.
Like, that doesn't seem real.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Like, the clouds look like the ocean. And you can see the stars starting to move in as the sun goes down. Seen this one before? I feel like I might have seen this one before. So anyway, so for cataloging, I try to group the catalogs in a way that makes sense. So when I do Noah's Soccer, I have a soccer catalog that's just soccer videos, and that makes it easy to keep like presets and things all together in one. I don't really use the presets that much, but let's go back and reopen.
I've heard people talk about the presets, but I don't even know how that works really.
Man, it's warm up here. Definitely gonna have to bring a fan.
I went to my cousin's house for the first time yesterday, and he didn't have a ceiling fan in the living room, but he had a ceiling fan in the hallway. I just thought that was the weirdest thing.
At the entrance? It's interesting. Okay, so the first thing I do when I bring pictures in, I import them, and I assign keywords to them. So some of these photos all have keywords like 2018 delineations Tulsa, office portfolio Tulsa, and that way I can go through and search the library pretty quickly if I wanted to. I can't remember right now how to search, but you can go and search, and you can create quick collections. So let's see if I can. Let's add. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. Text. Oh, here we go. Metadata. Nope. Oh, so like if you have different cameras or different lenses, So I can go and find all the pictures that I've taken with a Nikon D5100. I can find all the lenses that I've taken, or the ones that I've taken with this lens, you know. But if I go in and I just type in office, I think it's only searching for the ones that I've picked for something there. But it'll give you a selection of, you know, the things that you type in if you're looking for certain things.
I get what you're saying. It's kind of like YouTube.
Yep.
They have like different tags. Description.
So then move over to develop, and we're just going to do all photographs in the collection. You can see that I've got 160 photos in here, and that's all of them that I've taken so far. Now I've already gone through these and kind of culled them out, but you can see that I have some photos that look similar. This is called the loop down here, by the way, L-O-U-P-E.
Okay.
And so you can see, like, I've got these 5 shots right here which all look the same. So when I come across something like this, I'll select them and I'll just go through them and kind of see. I'll go between 2, and if they're not really similar, I'll skip that and I'll go on to the next ones and see. Okay, these are similar. You can see that there's very little difference. So what I do is I look and try to see, like, is one in focus versus out of focus. I look and see where the focal point is, probably somewhere right here, and I go back and forth between them to see that one's a little, well, see, it's still loading, see if it clears up a little bit. So yeah, you see it clear pop in the focus. So these are both pretty close. It's kind of hard to tell because of the light, how the lighting's really working. I can tell down here on this screen that I can see more detail up on the top, down on this screen, than I can on this one. I wonder if I can fix that real quick. I feel like this monitor maybe isn't quite set up right. This is why it's important to calibrate your monitors. It's as bright as it gets. Oh, come on. It's kind of hard to tell. I think it's just because the lighting in here, it's going to be tough to... There, that helped a little bit. Kick some of the glare off of there. So I'll go back and forth and I'll see which one I want to keep and which one I don't want to keep. If they're all pretty much the same, some of them will have different exposure. It looks like maybe I took these all at the same exposure. Sometimes you can come and see. The information. ISO 100, 1/8 of a second, so I can go through and I can see if I took it at a different exposure. These all look like they're pretty much the same. That one's got a slightly different composure. So then I'll go through and I'll see, like, I can tell I did something with the tilt there. Did you see it? Mm-hmm. So I'll have to decide which one do I like more. Do I like everything being in focus, or do I like having it kind of focused, having the focus kind of draw your attention here and it's kind of blurred up here?
I like that picture.
With it blurred? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some of it I'm not... See, like in some of it, you can see the fan is in a little. You can tell that you can see the blades a little bit better in this one. So between those two, which look very similar, I would probably keep the second one. So I'll go through and I'll delete that one, and then I use that process to kind of whittle down how many pictures I have. And then So like some of these were really tough to choose between. So I actually like the lighter one on this one. I think this one has more detail. This one right here. Right here. And the issue with this one, I think, is that this one's more in focus all the way across. But I like the fact that this one kind of draws your attention to this line that's right across here, so I'll probably just go ahead and delete that one. So then I'm looking to see, okay. So some of these you'll see they have tags, they have keyword information, they all have keyword information. Where are those two that I was just working on? There it is. So you can see that this one, this little image right here, that tells me that I've already edited it. Okay, so I can look and see the adjustments that I've made. Anything that's got that little tag right there means that it's been edited. So let's find one that's not edited. I think I don't know why I went with that one. Maybe this one's too bright. One of these artistic shots here. So I haven't edited these. So I took these because I like the shadows, the way the shadows played on the wall right there. So what I'll do is I'll come through and I'll get the color and everything the way that I want. Now, when we were talking about presets earlier, presets give you the option of, and you can see there's a preview up here at the top. If you watch up there, it'll show you what those different things do. So black and white, it'll take the different, red filter, orange filter, green filter, and it'll give you your different black and white looks. And then you can do like antiques or cream tone, cyanotype, sepia tone, which is like your antique black and white. You can do split tones. These are all your Instagram filters, right? Which were all processing methods when people were developing film and printing on photo paper. You can do all these different things here. I'm trying to see, I think that I can tell that this is going to be kind of hard to actually edit these on from here to here because I'm getting some artifacting on the screen that it's not in the actual photo. So like if I zoom in here, you can see that you get this bright spot right here. You see how it's pixelated? But if you look at this, it's not there. So this is just the result of trying to do it remote screen like this. Yeah. So, but of course, if you don't like any of those, you can right click and do a reset. Or where's the reset? Reset is over here where it says reset. And it goes back to the original. I like playing around with these manually just to see what you can do. You can use the histogram up here to figure out, like if you've got some spots that are clipping, like you see how this turned red right here. That means there's no detail right there. It's just white pixels. Okay, and like here, I think I've got some black clipping here. So you can hover over this. No, I don't have any black clipping in that one. For sure I would. Ceiling up there. No shadow clipping. Do I have any white clipping? Oh yeah, lots of white clipping. All out the windows. Which, I don't know if you remember when we were taking the pictures, I'm actually okay with that because remember we were able to see Southern Nazarene in the background. Oh yeah. So by setting the shutter speed and the f-stop the right way, I was able to basically eliminate that and show, what I wanted to show with these pictures is how much light is in this space. So the fact that these are just giant portals of light just flooding in. Lack of using a flash to take these pictures kind of tells that story of, even in this photo that's a little bit darker here, you can tell that these lights from outside overpower the lights that are on, and you can, like, you can't really can't see that there's any artificial lighting or any evidence of it. It all just looks like natural lighting. So like, these are going to be really tough to edit on here. It's like this one, you can see there's a lot more detail in this than there is in that one. But some of the things that I would play with here is maybe bring the highlights down a little bit to see if see if I can get a little bit more detail. See, I can start to see these shadows a little bit more. Yep, don't want to do that. Make the shadows a little bit darker. Now I can really start to see those shadows really well, and you can start to see how those shadows differentiate from each other. You can see all the different 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's about right. So you've got this pane of glass is one light, which is casting that first shadow, and then you've got these other lights up here that are casting all those other shadows.
Okay, yeah.
So you get all these different little panes of light right there, which is kind of what I wanted to see taking this picture. Bump the contrast up. Maybe bump the clarity a little bit. A little too much. And really it's just a matter of playing with it to get get what you want. Drop the saturation, we can make it black and white. Or we can crank the saturation way up and really show the halogen lighting versus the natural lighting, how this is kind of cool over here and this is kind of orange.
Yeah.
So you can kind of, I tend to,
like a bronze.
yeah, I tend to, in my photos, the style that I really like is, depending on how much color there is, I will either bring the saturation way up and drop the vibrance way down, or I'll bring the vibrance up and drop the saturation down. If there's not a lot of different color, I'll do the opposite of this. So you can see here that with the vibrance down but the saturation up, you get these little pops of color. See the orange, the red back there. And if I do it the other way, if I bring the vibrance up and then bring the saturation down, I don't get the pops. They're not as bright. Everything is much duller. Okay, so the saturation brings if you look at a color wheel, this is a great tool, by the way. Color pick. Yeah, I use this for if I'm on like Sherwin-Williams website, I can pick a color, get the RGB values, and then I can use that in Revit to set the actual paint color, like that.
Okay.
This is a really good tool, so what you can do is like you click here, and you can see I can hover over something. Like if I wanted that yellow right there, I would hit Control G, and now I have that color. And I've got the red, green, blue values, and I've got the hue, saturation. Yep.
I've always wanted to. Yeah.
And you can create different palettes.
Is that an app? That is an
This is a free program you can download. Yeah. So you can create different palettes. So you can like create a palette for one project if you're doing colors specifically for one project, and you can load them back and forth and things like that.
That's pretty cool.
So what the reason that I did this? So if you bring your saturation down, what you're doing is essentially. See if I can. So what you're doing is you're basically bringing the colors down to be more gray, right? So there's less differentiation between red, green, and blue. It all becomes kind of like gray, red, gray, green, gray, blue. So all the colors across spectrum, you can see how it tends to get more gray there. So for this one, I wanted to bring the saturation up and the vibrance down. So I thought that looked pretty good. And then I'll use cropping to just make sure that, so like on this side I've got, see there's a column on the other side, but there's not one here, so it kind of throws it off a little bit. So if I wanted to make this a little bit more symmetrical, I bring this into here. I can bring this into this corner here. And see, now I've got a problem where I've lost the top of that. And so now it feels like it's like this.
Yeah.
So I can drag this down. I can play with that setup. So we can see that kind of makes it feel like there could be more on the sides there. And then you can also do this cool little trick here where you just, for some reason, all of a sudden this tool has decided that it doesn't want to actually put cursor where I click. So if I want that line to be across here, for some reason I have to click like way down here. So then I can drag it straight across here. And when I let go, it'll rotate the image so that that is horizontal.
Okay. Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
While I'm cropping, I can also hit O to go between different, and can you see the grid in there? Mm-hmm. So these are different grids, different types of grids. So this is, you know, more center focused. And then this golden proportion. So if you want to line things up with golden proportions and crop them that way, you can do that. 4x5, 5x7, 2x3, different picture sizes, and then a full, you know, full horizontal vertical grid, so you can kind of check everything and see how everything's vertical. Now, the tilt shift lens, you can see that a lot of these things are vertical, even though it's a very wide angle, and that's why I got it. Now you can start to see on the sides here, it has just a little bit of parallax where it's starting to not be vertical on the extreme edges, and there's not really a whole lot you can do about that, but hitting O, you can go through there. And then hitting, what's that?
I can't see what you're talking about.
Can't see that? Okay.
I mean, I can, but
I mean, you're only going to be able to see it if you have another line to compare it against.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
So this is the, I'm an architect at OCD.
Okay.
No one else is going to see this, but I know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of stuff.
Okay, I get you.
So you can hit Shift O and you can rotate that. So if you get to the golden proportions there, you can rotate it for portrait or landscape orientation.
Okay.
So you can check it to see if your picture lines up with golden proportions.
Now, are you gonna do like a watermark thing on here?
I'm probably not gonna do a watermark. It's just, in my opinion, it's not worth the effort, and it's not worth devaluing what I'm trying to show. So if I put a watermark on here that made it so nobody could use this, it would just be a giant delineations across there, right?
You couldn't just put it like at the bottom.
Sure, and then somebody could crop it out, and then there was no point in doing it to begin with.
That is true.
So, I mean, I have the original files, and I actually own the building where the picture was taken, so I can prove that I'm the one that took this picture if it comes to it. Ape up. So, and you know, there are some other photos, like, so that is not what I meant to do. So, like this right here, I mean, I put this on the internet, and who knows if somebody's taken it and reused it and made money off of it. If I were making a living off of photography, it might be a bigger deal, and I might spend more time pursuing, like, making sure people haven't done that. But putting a watermark on this, all that does is make it so that, you know, you can't see the detail of the picture that was taken.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and the same thing with, like,
That's cool though.
that right there. That one was really cool. I got lucky on both of these. So I was doing time lapse of this building here being built downtown, and I left the camera going overnight, or through the day, and these storms just cropped up in the middle of the when it was taking pictures. So that one's more timing though. So this was leaving the shutter open. Let's see here. It doesn't say how long the exposure was, but it was probably a 20-second exposure. So the lens was just open and I got multiple lightning shots. That's a composite with a bunch of different lightning strikes. This is from our old house in Atlanta. I didn't get anything else. I love standing out in the middle of lightning storms. Maybe a little too much.
Oh, man.
Like shots like that. That was actually right out here. That was when we had some storms coming through. Well, I didn't make the cloud, so I can't take much credit for it. So here's the thing about these images is that if you look down here, you'll notice they're all NEF files, which is Nikon's version of a RAW file. A lot of this information, you wouldn't be able to do a whole lot of messing around with the highlights and the blacks and the whites and the shadows with a JPEG, because the pixels just have that color information. There's no data in the pixels.
Yeah.
So when you have the raw file, it actually has you can just think of it as it has a bunch of layers of information where you can actually go, and you can't change the exposure, but I mean you can kind of, because you see as I make this brighter, I gain a lot of detail that wasn't there before. And if it were a JPEG, it would just make everything brighter. It wouldn't show more detail.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And you know, and if I make it darker, can't really do it well on that one. Let me undo this because I actually like the way I had it. And it'll give you a value. So I'm at 130 right now. So you can look at the exposure and you can figure out the math, like what does that set my exposure at if you're looking for a certain exposure. A good example here is these shots right here. It was these shots, now it's just this one shot. So you might not be able to tell this is actually somebody's head right here. So if I actually drop the exposure here, so I mean the detail is there in the raw file, but the JPEG, that would just be color values, not actual information. So if I bring this up, you know, I set this, this is the way the original picture looked. So I had set the exposure to where I would be able, I knew, I kind of cheat this way in photography. I take a picture knowing that if I get it either in the middle or on one extreme, either high or low of what I'm trying to do, then I can come in and fix it in here. But I know the range is fairly small, so I know what I'm trying to do.
What you're talking about is not to have it overexposed and not to have it underexposed.
Right. And this is, if depending on what story you're trying to tell with this picture, you could say that this is overexposed.
Yeah.
Right? Because you could be saying, well, I want to see what's outside. Well, that's definitely overexposed. But what you could do, instead of, undo those, instead of doing the whole exposure, I could bring, if I wanted to see the outside and the inside, I could come in and say, well, let's bring the highlights way down. And now the inside's still properly exposed, and the outside I can kind of see a little bit of detail there. can actually see where the pixels change colors just enough to register here. Alrighty, have fun. You know, or if something's too dark here, I want more detail, I can bring the blacks up. So now you can see a lot more detail between the wood and the leather there, as opposed to before. You know, you can tell that there's a difference in material, but it's not as noticeable as when you bring that detail in the black up.
Yeah.
So
I like how the light is coming inside the house on the roof.
I thought that this was a pretty cool telling. It was actually one of the things that they kind of complained about a little bit. They were like, yeah, we had to put curtains up in the back because the sun just pours in the evening. I was like, oh, okay. So I came back in and I took this picture. I was like, hey, look, the sun's coming in through the back windows. Which I think, you know, if you do this right, it can be very successful. Like some of these shots, I really liked some of these shots. That's the game room in the Polyata house. I hope I didn't lose some of those. I feel like I had some different ones there. It's like, I think that's a pretty cool shot. This is one where you could probably, I took the picture, the exposure where you can't see it here, but in this one you can see that there's some trees there. So if I bring this down, you can see that there's some trees outside. I'll bring it way down, you can actually see some detail further back even. So, you know, and now it actually looks like it's just really snowy outside. So, you know, you just kind of have to, just like with our documents, if you have an idea of what story you're trying to tell, and you take pictures with that story in mind, it's a lot easier later on to edit them and convey what you're trying to tell, what you're trying to sell, right? So I tell people architecture schools, like 5% design and 95% learning how to BS people. Because you spend most of your time in front of jury, they call it jury, where you have 2 or 3 architects or professors come sit down and critique your design. And you basically have to defend your design. And they say, well, why did you do this? Or, you know, I don't like how you did this. Or, you know, why didn't you do it this way? And mostly what they're looking for is to figure out whether or not you can actually back up why you did something.
Yeah.
Yeah, their lights out before us.
Oh no. Wonder. Wait 20 seconds.
Which company is it?
But I think theirs is not an open house.
No. There is a wine tasting from
Top one.
So we'll have to have. We'll just put alcohol and VR on ours. That's a good combination, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol and VR.
Sarah said she would not do the shoe shine because she says that it's not doesn't portray what we do here.
Okay.
And that she thinks it would be a good idea for
We don't
that
do food
people
or
might.
drinks either, but we're gonna have those.
I know, but she said people might focus on that and not. She just said she just thought it wasn't a good idea.
Okay.
She also said Debbie would be with it.
There was somebody doing free shoe shines in here? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I'm still going to ask them, and if they come, then they're here. I don't think there's a reason for them to tell us that we can't have somebody, a local barber, coming and doing it. So, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Alright.
Anyways,
Oh, this is not a wine tasting tonight. This is an informational seminar. You gotta read the fine print. There is no cost or obligation.
But on the back it says wine tasting trivia.
Yeah. Wine and trivia night, but the fine print.
Oh.
is this is an informational seminar on life insurance and annuities. Not like how you get that free vacation and you have a timeshare at the end of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't like this isn't their grand opening. I think this is just
No, it's not a just invite. I don't know, who they are all inviting.
We need to find out who did their invites. No, I mean, like, look, it's not even a rectangular piece of paper.
Oh,
Do you see it?
Yes.
You see it? It's like no.
It's not even slightly.
I think
It's just like.
I think it's New is doing ours.
Who's going to do ours? Okay, it's the same people who want these ones. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I will say one thing that's kind of fun. I don't know if I have Photoshop on here or not. One thing that you can do in Lightroom is like you can select photos. Like I took these 3 photos knowing that I might try to stitch them together. So I can right click that and I can do, what am I looking for? Edit in, merge to panorama in Photoshop. Let's see if this works. So then you can check, you pick, what kind of, Photoshop is so tiny. I want to do auto, and those are the 3 pictures, so I'll hit OK. Sometimes you have to, it helps if you put them in the order that you're going to do them in. But this is, again, this is part of that, what story do you want to tell, and knowing the tools that you have. So I've done pictures where I've taken like a series of pictures like this, and then I use this tool in Photoshop. It might still be going here. Let's see if we can figure it out. So it's going through a series of commands here. You can see it's doing all of its stuff. Sometimes it's fun to do this just to see how hilarious the result is. Sometimes it just has no clue how to match them. But I know that I got the bottom of this and the top one, and I got the top of this and the bottom one, so this is kind of the sandwich in between. And now it's applying all the different layer fixtures and things like that. Let's see what it gives us. Looks like it figured it out. I see a middle, bottom, and top layer there. The real question is because it's a wide-angle lens, how well did it fix,
Yeah.
the lens correction? We'll see. It's actually not bad. So go back to what we had to begin with. Okay, so we had these 3 pictures. Right, so we had those 3 pictures. And this is what it gave us. So I can probably bring this back in and do a little bit of correction on the edges there to get this to be a little bit straight. And this right here as well. This actually looks vertical, but it kind of does this little thing right here. Probably because of the tilt shift lens that we were using. So Yeah, I don't know. That's not too bad. So I can save this, do a file, save as, and then you can save it as a TIFF. You won't be able to save it as a raw image, so you want to do all your exposure editing before you send it back in. So we'll do this. I'll just save it as that.
Can you save as raw pictures in the Lightroom?
Not in Photoshop, no.
No, but in the Lightroom, can you?
It doesn't. So Lightroom is non-destructive. All it's doing is it's giving instructions on how to manipulate the photo.
Okay.
So it's not actually changing the pixels. So what you do is you export those images to JPEGs or PNGs or whatever format you want to present in.
Gotcha.
So now that that is saved, I should be able to come back to Lightroom. And now this is in Lightroom. So I can come in and I can crop this down. I might be able to crop this down. With panoramic photos, sometimes you... Well, I guess that's not too bad. I'll probably give myself a little bit more room. Do custom, and I can bring this up. Oh. It didn't seem to like that. Oh, I've got to unlock the ratio here. Come on. You can do it. Bring this down. And there we have that. I'm just curious, if I do the lens correction, what happens? So it looked like it straightened a little bit. Why this is giving me such a hard time. So you see it's still a little bit sloped. But it's better than it was. So that's something that's a little bit more usable. So if you zoomed in and you like really did some pixel hunting, like you can see where I tried to blend the two images right there. But for, I don't know. Did it on both sides.
To be honest, I wouldn't tell.
Right, I mean, anybody who's just looking at this, unless they're like a graphic designer and they're looking for, like you can see this one right here. You can see right there, a little bit of cropping going on right there. So, I mean, it didn't do a bad job for what we were trying to do.
And yeah, it's not bad at all, because at first, you said, oh, that's not bad. I thought it was the original picture. Even though you said you were going to add those pictures together.
Yep. Come in and bring the shadows up a little bit to get a little bit more color. Bring the contrast up. Come down just a little bit, and then get the clarity up, do a little saturation, devibrance, so you can really get the pop of those colors in there. We can make it warmer or cooler. You can also do an auto white balance, so if you know that this is a pure white, or Mr. Coffee there is pure white, you can click on that and it'll white balance the whole picture. Personally, I like having a little bit of warmth, little bit of feeling into the picture. And you can do a little bit of sharpening, so get a little bit of detail back here. You want to sharpen it a little bit, or if your focus wasn't quite as good as you want, you can sharpen it just a little bit. And then you can come in and do a vignette cropping. So I'll do a bunch of it so you can see what that is. But then I kind of darken the corners just a little bit to give the picture just a little bit more depth, a little bit more feeling to it. Wonder if there's anything that I can do about this. I don't know if there's going to be anything that I can do about it.
What are you trying to brighten it? If you're in Photoshop, you could do a little mask.
I don't want to brighten it. I want to see if we can do a spot removal on it. See what it does. Actually, not be too bad. Get it horizontal here. Alright. Oh, come on. Alright, so I think if I have to get the shadow too. Then I'm going to have to go in and get the cord too. Now the question is do I have enough room on this side? It's gonna pick that up. So close. Might have to I don't know what I just did. I might just not have enough wall space to do it. Yeah, I could probably spend a lot of time trying to get this to work, but I don't know what I just did. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll have to play around with that a little bit if I really want to. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'll go through and I'll pick, a style that I want for each. So for the office, we'll have one style, and for one house, we'll have one style, and for another house, we'll have a different style. And it just I kind of just go by what I feel in terms of what works for the house. Sometimes I end up going back and redoing an entire set of photos because I'm thinking, oh well, I feel like it needs to be warmer, it needs to be cooler, or
Yeah.
less contrast, or something like that.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Any questions?
I think that'll be it. Can I leave that around 4:30?
Yeah, that'll be fine. So you've got the Kramer red lines, and if you could do that Patriot Home one when you're done with the current task that you're on, do
Patriots.
the Maladano Williams.
Bar reset.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the red lines that I just sent you.
Okay, cool.
All right? What's up, Sean? How you doing? That sounds pretty cool. All right, now, careful over there. Go down the wrong throat. Hey, Courtney. That V5 to do that I just sent you, that you marked as done.
Oh, I thought that was the original.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I did was.
Yeah, that's the. So I just did more red lines.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Nope, it's okay. Ooh. How many softwares do I use? All of them. I use all the software. You just marked it as done again. You want to fight? Yeah, are you marking it done for a reason? You haven't done it, because I just sent you the red lines.
No, that was the, I just undid that. I did do the revisions for the V2.
Right. So I think what happened is I marked it as, I reopened it, and then you clicked it again, and it should be fine. I was like, why does she keep doing that? You, I bet you know more about photography than you think you do. So I think I might be done for the day. It was a long night, so I think I'm gonna head out and what is with my camera? I don't know. Something's up with that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be done for the day. Should be back tomorrow. Yeah, I should be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a long day, but I think I'm gonna go home and do some more work from my couch. Anyway, thanks for joining. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later.